In the year 820 AD, beneath the blazing Egyptian sun, the desert shimmered with heat, and the Great Pyramid of Giza loomed over the sands like a colossal memory. Before it stood Al-Ma'mun, Abbasid caliph, conqueror and seeker. History knows him as a ruler of intellect and might, a man drawn to the edge of the known. But that day, he came not with armies for conquest, he came for the unknown. He came to break the silence of the oldest stone monument on earth. What did he seek? Gold? Jewels? Or something more elusive? Knowledge? Hidden wisdom? Whispers of the past preserved in stone? This is the story of Al-Ma'mun and the Great Pyramid, a story not only of what was found, but of what was hidden, buried, and perhaps never meant to be unearthed. The conqueror and the pyramid Al-Ma'mun was no ordinary ruler. Born in 786 AD, he was the son of the famous Harun al-Rashid, the caliph immortalized in tales of 1001 Nights. But where his father reveled in opulence, Al-Ma'mun pursued knowledge. His court in Baghdad became a beacon of learning, home to philosophers, mathematicians and mystics. The Bait al-Hikmah, the House of Wisdom, flourished under his watch. Yet for all his intellectual passion, Al-Ma'mun was also ruthless. He crushed revolts, eliminated rivals, and extended his empire's reach. His curiosity had sharp edges. So why Egypt? Why the Great Pyramid? The Arab world had inherited legends of Egypt's ancient past, tales of god-kings, forbidden knowledge, and treasures buried beyond imagining. To Al-Ma'mun, the Great Pyramid was not just a marvel, it was a challenge, and in the summer of 820, he set out to pierce its heart. The digging begins. Imagine the scene. Under the blistering sun, dozens of workers chisel into stone. Not through the known entrance. No, Al-Ma'mun ordered a forced passage, today called the Robber's Tunnel. The air was thick with dust. Torches sputtered in the darkness. For weeks they carved, inch by inch, foot by foot, their tools clanging against ancient rock. What drove them? The promise of gold, the command of a caliph, or the pull of mystery, the urge to be the first to know? Inside, they encountered strangeness, echoes that seemed to answer back, corridors that twisted unnaturally, markings they could not read. Some whispered of curses, others pressed on. At last they broke through, into the king's chamber. But instead of treasure they found emptiness, or so the official story goes. The lost accounts. Arab historians like al-Masudi and Ibn Abd al-Hakam wrote of the dig, but their accounts are laced with hints, contradictions and silences. Some described inscriptions unlike any others, spirals, ladders, eyes, not the usual hieroglyphs. Some mentioned sealed doors never opened. Others suggested that something was removed, quietly, secretly, before any record could be made. Why the inconsistencies? Was it political caution, religious pressure, or were the caliph's men deliberately erasing what they found? The Book of Thoth. At the heart of these legends lies the Book of Thoth, a fabled text said to grant mastery over the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. It was a book of secrets, the language of the animals, the power to commune with the gods, the path to immortality. Thoth, the ibis-headed scribe, was Egypt's god of wisdom. His book was feared as much as it was desired. To read it was to risk madness. To misuse it was to invite ruin. Was Al-Ma'mun seeking this book? And if so, did he find it? Some say yes, and that its contents were spirited away to Baghdad, locked away in the House of Wisdom, where it vanished into legend. The pyramid as initiation machine. Modern esotericists and mystics argue that the Great Pyramid was never just a tomb. Its design, they claim, mirrors the journey of the soul. The ascending passages, the grand gallery, the king's chamber, these were not for the dead but for the living, for those undergoing ritual transformation. Ancient Egyptian texts speak of the Ba, the soul, traversing trials, facing judgment, and emerging as Ak, the transfigured spirit. Hermetic writings, centuries later, echo these themes, describing an ascent through 7 levels of being, stripping away illusion to reach the divine. The pyramid, in this view, was a machine of initiation, a gateway between worlds. Modern science, ancient secrets. In recent decades, non-invasive scans have revealed mysterious voids inside the pyramid, chambers with no known access, hidden spaces untouched for millennia. Some researchers speculate they could hold ritual objects, texts, or simply architectural anomalies. Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities has blocked further exploration. Why? Skeptics say to prevent damage. Believers whisper of secrets too dangerous to reveal. Are we on the brink of rediscovering what Al-Mamun sought, and perhaps found? Why the silence? Throughout history, knowledge has been controlled. The Library of Alexandria burned. Alchemists were silenced. Sufi mystics were exiled. Teachings that blurred the lines between body, soul, and cosmos were seen as threats, not just to religion, but to political power. What if Al-Mamun's men found not gold, but truths that undermined authority? What if they learned that the real treasure was inner awakening, a kingdom not of this world? Such truths, history shows, are often the first to be buried. The real treasure. In the end, perhaps Al-Mamun stood in the king's chamber and realized the great secret, that the pyramid was never meant to be opened from without, but from within, that the journey was not through stone corridors, but through the self. The greatest mysteries are not solved, they are remembered, and they wait, not to be conquered, but to be lived.